Bible because we say the Bible is at its best when it's discussed. So that's
Absolutely.
why I think it's so much fun to do this. And we love personal Bible studies, but there's something about when you discuss it with a friend, just makes it so much fun. So that's why we're kind of doing this, and we're showing kind of how you do it or how not to do it. That's how we're rolling with it, and we're in Acts chapter 2. And John, we're doing a little different today because we're doing just a small portion, even though Acts is a narrative
Yeah.
account, so you get bigger story, all that kind of good stuff. But uh, we're just doing a little portion because I think this brings in a really important point and idea that I think needs to be kind of talked about and teased out. And so, John, will you do us the honor of reading Acts 42 through 47?
Absolutely. Verse 42, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. Man, that's really cool.
Yeah, so there's a few things I want to talk about, and then I'm going to kind of punt the ball to you a little bit and have you just kind of talk about it. But kind of, I see these four major things happening in verse 42. Kind of the four ingredients of kind of the early church.
Yeah.
Where I love, and I don't want to miss out on this word devoted. I think that's a really important word because I
Absolutely.
think what happens here helps create the stability of the church during the persecution.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my take. But they devoted themselves to, of course, the teaching, right? The apostles' teaching, uh, fellowship, which that Greek word koinonia. So it's not just about, at a church you'd have a fellowship hall and you'd have casseroles and and I mean, fellowship is
Not that
deep.
those are bad things, but it was, yeah, I see what
Right,
you're saying. Yeah.
they're not bad things, and a bad casserole. Well, a bad casserole is a bad thing, but other than a bad casserole, fellowship is something that is not just about hanging out. I mean, it was deeper than that. Of course, breaking of bread and to prayer.
Wow.
And I just think these four ingredients need to be evident in every believer's life. And what I would just say, and then I'll punt the ball to you, John, is that it was this level of devotion that created the foundation and the health of the early church to be able to not only withstand but thrive in the midst of persecution. And I think that's where community and the sense of togetherness that they had
Yeah.
was that lifeline. There was no, hey, let me call up a lawyer. Nero's being mean to the church. There was none of that. I mean, they were being fed to lions. I mean, it was just utterly, purposeful persecution, and all they had to rely on was each other and God. And they not only survived, they thrived. And how the early church made it outside of Nero's Rome is really still a mystery to historians.
Yeah.
And I believe part of it, of course, it's a God thing.
Yeah.
God did
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, for sure.
God worked through their devotion and their togetherness,
Yeah.
um, that made it possible. And I think I can never speak highly enough about community and the need for togetherness. So, John.
Well, and not to give a shameful plug, but I mean, you read those four things and you think about our community groups and why we value them so high. I mean, it's almost ridiculous. It's exactly what we want in our community groups. We want there to be teaching. We want there to be fellowship. We want there to be breaking of bread, people eating together, and prayer. And I mean, these are things that are just foundational to what we believe should be happening in the church. And I think it's interesting too, Justin. You kind of touched on it. It's kind of funny. We talk about in church world, well, we want to be an Acts 2:42 church, or we want to do this. We want to devote to teaching and fellowship and breaking bread. Peter and the rest of the disciples, they weren't going off of anything. They didn't get a book that showed them how to be we're going to be the Acts 2:42 church. Like, they just did exactly what they thought they should do. And then God started adding to their number daily, which I think is unbelievable. And I wrote down 3 things that I thought were kind of cool. 3 things that I think were evident in their church when they, as they kind of looked at this, and we've already touched on them. But these are the 3 things that I wrote down was they were all about Jesus. Their label was Jesus. Everything was Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I mean, they're just like, Jesus is our answer. Jesus is everything. I mean, it's about Jesus, and that's what they taught. That's what it was. The other thing they did was they proclaimed the gospel, and they told the story of Jesus. And I think that is just unbelievable and exciting. I think it's cool at the end. It says their number were added. The Lord added to their number daily. Sometimes it's easy. I don't know. We've created this. Maybe I'll get off topic a little, Justin, but we've created this perfect Sunday model church where people can only get saved on Sunday. We think, it's like, well, I'll invite them to church, and then the pastor will preach and he'll invite them to get saved. And that's great. And I love it. But man, you got to imagine people every single day were being added to their number. Every single day they were hearing the story. So it wasn't just Peter and it wasn't just John telling the story of Jesus. Right. It was all these other people that were just so excited. And that just kind of fires me up. And then the other thing is they had the power of the Holy Spirit. You look at the church and what happened and where they were. And like you said, it's kind of a miracle that it made it out, that it moved beyond the walls. And it's what the Holy Spirit does. That's how he works. So it's kind of those are just my takes. I don't know if you got anything off of that.
No, I think where I guess I would like to take the conversation is basically, of course, like you brought up, there was no book, right? They were kind of making it up as they go along. And what's even interesting is what they did here in 2:42. You see them not doing some of it going forward. And what I'm talking about is not necessarily the 4. These 4, basically, they did for now on. But it's when they would go into the what was it, temple courts?
Every day they broke bread. They sold. Yeah.
So they sold property and possessions. Definitely. You see that there was an interruption to that when you had 2 people trying to take advantage of the system, and we'll see that Ananias and Sapphira later when they try to take it. You see that there was even a breakdown in that, and how they met together in the temple courts. That ceased after the extreme persecution from the Jewish sector.
Right.
So
yeah.
So even then, you could see that they were continuing to morph. And what does this look like? And it's not a perfect formula, but the most important thing that they figured out was the together. And it's that together, again, I say this is the importance of community. This is why they didn't know fully. I mean, Jesus warned them about they hated him. They're going to hate you. But I don't think they fully understood the level of persecution that they would have to endure, and would endure sometimes really intense persecution for like 300 years.
Wow.
It's not going to, I'm not 270 years, all right? 270 years of sometimes being some intense persecution. And again, I think that's why they keep falling back on community.
Yeah.
They could not have done this without each other. There's no way they could have done this without. And so I just put this on everyone, for you, for me, for anyone that's watching, YouTube land or Facebook land. if you don't have a community, you are just setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just absolutely, because you don't know what's waiting ahead of you. You don't know what kind of trials, issues, problems, things. And if you don't have people to call, if you don't have someone to show up, and I think that's why it's so important. And this is why I just kind of put in a plug that, man, get involved in a church, and not just get involved and go to a church service, but get involved in the lives of the people in your church. I think that's absolutely important, because when you face difficulty and you don't have a community, it's too late.
Yeah,
It's really
absolutely.
too late. Community has to be built in on the front end. So that's my spill, John. I don't know why.
No, that's some great stuff. I meet people sometimes, or I've met people over my life where, hey, where are you involved? I don't, it's not for us, it's not check a box. I think it's hard for pastors to have that conversation because you just want me to go to your church. It's not that's man, I care about you. I genuine, and like you said, there's people who are like, well, I just don't, that's not for me, or that's not. You're missing it. You're missing out. It's not a check the box. I went to church on the weekend. It is this whole fellowship and following Jesus is all about, it's about being genuine and really being in relationship with people. And you can't do it by yourself. You can for a little while, but you're not going to get the most out of it. And you're not going to have people surrounding you the way God designed it to be. And so I love that.
And I would say you're still rolling the dice. Yes, you can probably do it by yourself, but there's going to come a time where alone is not enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to hit a ceiling. You're going to hit a ceiling growth wise, because I think you can only grow so far by yourself without any other kind of community. I think you're going to hit a ceiling in your spiritual growth. You're going to hit your ceiling, and I just think that's why it's so important. And I think that's why you need a front load community. It's something that it's like, what's the old adage? What's the best time to plant a tree? 100 years ago, right? What's the second best time to plant a tree? Now. I mean, you front load this in your life because it's so important for you to build in those relationships. So when you do encounter issues and you do go through terrible times and circumstances, that you have that in your life. And so that's just kind of my take, brother.
Come on. That's good stuff, man. Well, let's look at some comments, Just, should we?
Yeah. Here we go. My mouse has been messing up, so I hope it works out. See, it's been all right. So first of all, we gotta say what's going on to Ruby Lacey.
Miss
How you
Ruby,
doing?
what's up? John and Heather Baca.
Yeah, what's happening, guys? I don't know. You're seeing us. This is what's happening. Of course. James, what's up, JT? It's good to see you. Jerry, love Jerry, man. Do you know she makes the best burrito you'll ever have in your life?
I don't, but you've told me that lots of times.
Yeah. Alicia is hanging out with us all the way from Boise, and I imagine, well, it feels like Boise, Idaho here right now.
Today is freezing cold, yeah.
That's it. And Stephanie, man, she has a good point. Their hearts and labor were toward Jesus. It seems like their lives are turned around because of the story, and it spreads out quickly only through the power of God, all in one accord toward a common goal. And you're right. It wasn't all in one accord, and so maybe it was a Honda. I'm sorry. That's terrible. Oh, man, that's so terrible.
That's an old one, Jeff.
It is an old one. I'm sorry. Oh, hey, you know what? This is Brother Jerry. Brother Jerry? Do you remember Brother Jerry?
No, I don't.
I was in youth group. Brother
God
Jerry.
bless Justin, Brother Jerry.
Well, God bless you too, my friend. Yeah. Let's see. We all need others' life with Jesus. Absolutely. And I love just anchoring that point.
Small group. Come on.
Say, what's up, Martha? It's good to see you. You got hearts around you, Martha. I don't know if you knew that.
Mike Elliott has a good question, Just.
Does he? How about community groups in a COVID world? If folks are nervous to attend, they're only doing in person. You know what? This Great question, Mike. COVID is a great example of how you need to front load relationships.
Front load them.
You got to front load them. So here, I think you can still connect with people. They have these things called, phones, and you can call someone up and text someone. And
We
I just
also do online community groups.
there are online community groups, and some groups are more kind of tech savvy than others. And here's the thing that people always say, "Oh, I hate Zoom. It's not the same." You're exactly right, but at some point, you got to say to yourself, "It doesn't matter." It if I can if give me the little bit that you can get, then let's go with it. So whether
I
if it's
think you
or go
said
ahead.
it right, Justin. I think front loading community. You're seeing how important it is in life. Oh, I don't know if I need that. It's not the right time, and then it is the right time, and you don't have it. And it's so valuable to have those in your life, because then when you're already plugged in, you want to have those Zoom calls. You're like, I don't care. I miss you guys too much. I need you in my life, and you see the value of it. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important, and it's just really important to have that, because again, you never know when you have pandemic, and when you're trying to find and see, it's not impossible to find community in the middle of a pandemic, but it's very difficult. So it's almost like you got to front load it in preparation for that. So Mike, I hope that helps. So all right, and Martha, she has a question about the Bible. I have a Women of Faith Bible, and taken out several others. Why does mine not have Acts 2? Great question. I don't know why yours would not have it. I think any Christian Orthodox Bible would have it. I would recommend an NIV Bible. She says it goes straight to Romans 16. Huh.
but
I wonder,
that's
or,
weird.
yeah, it goes straight into Romans. I don't know what to tell you, Martha. I would recommend a good life application NIV Bible,
NIV.
and it has Acts and Romans. You don't want to miss out on Acts. I think it's important. I've never heard that.
I haven't either.
I've heard, like some like New Testament Bibles, they don't have the Old Testament. It's just the New Testament.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I thought there was maybe it was Acts 2, but I thought it was a different book where it was like, hey, this is no, never mind. I don't know, Martha. Get an NIV. It'll help. It'll get you going.
Yeah.
You can get a free one on your phone if you download the Bible app. You jump on that Bible app and get one today. So
Yeah, Bible.org. Is that what it is? Bible.org?
well,
or
just on your phone, it's just called the Bible app. By Life.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. That's good stuff. Well, hey, John, it was a lot of good conversation. Thanks, guys, for showing up. And next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Acts chapter 3. And so, man, it gets good. It gets really good. And something else I kind of want to plug in is I've really enjoyed the Bible Project. So if anyone wants to check out some great videos, they do animated videos of the Bible, and it helps bring understanding. And it's something, John, I've been doing with my family now. We do like family devotions once a week, and I'll make them watch Bible Project videos, and it's really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it.
It's not. I mean, it looks like it's kiddie, but it's not kiddie. I mean, there's some concepts in there. They just do it in an animated way. So I recommend watching. They do the whole series on Acts, Luke and Acts together. And so check out BibleProject.com. Great stuff. Tim Mackey and John
That's your
Collins.
guy. I mean, that's your dude, man.
Tim Mackey is a genius, and I wish I was 10%. As smart as that guy, just 10%. And John, you're about 20% as smart as Tim Mackey.
I don't even have a percent, bro.
Come on now. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock.